We have a celebrity amongst us right now, and that's Rakesh Raghunathan. Rakesh, are you in?
Yes, yes. Hi.
Hi, Rakesh. Let me do
Hi.
an introduction. Yeah, I'll do a quick intro, Rakesh, before I give the stage to you.
Sure.
Rakesh Raghunathan is a celebrity chef. We call him a singing chef. He runs a popular food channel and blog. It's called Puliogare Travels, where he showcases heirloom recipes that have a story to tell. He's the TV show host for the popular Dakshin Dairies, Food Explorer, and he's a TEDx speaker. Rakesh is also an accomplished Carnatic vocalist and has enthralled his audiences with several concerts prior to becoming a star chef. Today, we will see how Rakesh integrates his passion and love for food with his music. Over to you, Rakesh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Very much. You're
Great.
perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. So my journey to document food started about 5-6 years ago. And during the course of my journey across small towns, villages, what intrigued me most was a wide spectrum of food, if I can say that, from temple prasadam to the tribal food, the indigenous communities there. And when you look at temple food, I mean, putting the religious bit aside, I think what I could infer from the temple food was from the ancient inscriptions and all of that was you can understand a particular region's economy, the way of life, the employment of people, what was the local vegetation, what was the climate like, how were old traditional recipes, how did they come together, how did they evolve? So the culinary history, everything behind it. And temple inscriptions, for example, if you look at the ones in Srirangam, in Trichy, and also in Tirupati, they don't talk about just the temple prasadams. It's almost like a modern day standard operating procedure in a restaurant, where it talks about the quantities, the kind of utensil that should be used, that is the size, the metal that should be used for cooking, what kind of firewood, where the firewood should be sourced from, the temple kitchen, where that should be built, which direction, the number of people required to make that recipe, what time of the day should these recipes be made. And again, not to forget the context of the temple recipes. I mean, one was, yes, there was something sacred, but the underlying thing was people volunteered their time at the temples, and to feed them, food was given back, made in the temple kitchen. Now, many years ago, like several generations, several decades ago, when kings donated lands and villages to temples, again, these are all part of the inscriptions that you can make out. They donated fully functional, economically viable villages. And what I mean by that is the entire village was making money. Like river channels were running full, land was fertile, irrigation, agriculture, people were fully occupied. So everything was at its best. So any first produce, whether it was rice with lentil, dairy like butter, curd, ghee, everything, the first produce was given to the temple as an offering because the lands were part of the temple property. And the temple in turn put it to use and made prasadams and gave it to the people who visited temple. So it was a happy marriage, so to say. And the kings, since they donated these lands and villages, they had their preferences as part of the temple prasadam. Like for example, Aviyal, which everybody may be familiar, is the Trivandrum royalty family. It's part of their preferences, which is in the Thiruvananthapuram temple. It's one of the prasadams that is made. So not just that, if you look at the south of India, which is the rice bowl, you'll see a lot of prasadams, especially rice based. So you'll have your tamarind rice, you'll have curd rice, you'll have ven pongal, you'll have chakra pongal. Then people started using it out of rice flour. People made adais out of it in parts of Kerala. So the common thread being rice, because rice as indigenous it is, we had more than 250,000 varieties of indigenous rice just in India, right? So that's how ancient that we're talking about. And going further, like, I think what intrigued me the most about food was these kind of literature that opened me out to understanding what food can actually do to you, the kind of culinary history, the kind of people's employment opportunities at that point of time. So this sort of led me on to other inscriptions, like going into ancient poetry verses like the Pasurams or the Divya Prabandhams, that again gave me an idea of what kind of prasadams were there. Mentions that are here and there, it talks about milk, it talks about ghee, it talks about the akara adisal sweet, which I will be singing later and showing you. Similar to that, the Sangam literature, which dates back to about 5,000 years from today. There's a beautiful instance where in the Kovalan and Kannagi Silappadigaram, they talk about where they discuss amongst themselves asking, have we reached Madurai? Do you know if we are on the right track to Madurai? And he is seen asking someone for directions, like, do you know if we are going towards Madurai? Then the person who he asked direction actually says, can't you get the smell of Adirisam? Adirisam, for those of you who may not be familiar, is rice. It's a sweet rice crisp that is fried in oil or ghee. It's made on festive occasions. So they say the smell of jaggery is so powerful, and that smell actually emanates from one of the mandapams or the shelters in Madurai. So he says, you know, you're on your way. The place that you're going to is right, because you can get the smell. So that's how evocative that is. And rice, that I said, about 250,000 varieties of rice, such beautiful names. If I were to describe it in Tamil, I can keep going on and on. But I think for me, as someone who's been exploring food from from different lenses, I think what I have understood was how food can bring people together, how it can unite people, how it can be a conversation starter. You know, you go to someone and start talking about food. Invariably, there'll be that one person in the family who will immediately connect with you and be like, hey, I got tons of family recipes that I can share. So, you know, things like that. And for me, when I do my thematic presentations on food, where I actually cook the recipe, these kind of traditional recipes and recipes that have a story to tell. So these kind of traditional recipes where I cook, I give the culinary history behind the temple prasadam, I give the anecdotes, interesting mythology that goes with it, and of course where the actual prasadam is mentioned. So all of this sort of, it appeals to all senses, and people, it's sort of to make people understand that the food they eat, actually they're biting into a spoon of history, a spoon of heritage. I mean, call it whatever you want. So I will sing a particular verse from the Nachiyar Tirumozhi, which is Andal's verses, where she talks about a particular sweet called the Akkara Adisal. If you are watching, if you know what the Akkara Adisal is, if you're thinking it's like the Chakra Pongal, you're wrong. It's a close cousin, but not really. It's milk and lentils boiled together with jaggery and lots of spices like nutmeg and cardamom. And you have that bowl of goodness right before you. And I will be singing that particular verse where she says she will offer Akkara Adisal, that is the sweet, if she ends up marrying the Lord. நாறு நரம் பொழில் மாலிரும் சோலை நாறு நரம் பொழில் மாலிரும் சோலை நம்பிக்கு நூறு தடா வெண்ணெய் வாய் நேர்ந்து பராபி வைத்தே நூறு தடா வெண்ணெய் வாய் நேர்ந்து பராபி வைத்தே நூறு தடா நிறைந்த நூறு தடா நிறைந்த அக்காரடிசில் நூறு தடா நிறைந்த அக்காரடிசில் சொன்னே ஏறு திருவுடையான் இன்று வந்து இவை கொள்ளுங்கோலோ ஏறு திருவுடையான் இன்று வந்து இவை கொள்ளுங்கோலோ 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 And for those of you who may not understand the meaning, the translation to that is, I swear to him, my fiancé in Thirumal Irinchole, 100 tadas of butter and 100 tadas of akara adisil. Now, tada in today's context is the size of a modern day pond. So that's how huge it is. So she says she will offer the quantity of that size of butter and the akara adisil sweet, filled to the brim, nicely spread out. Will the radiant hero come at least for these, if not for me? So that's how beautiful and moving those verses are. And these kind of verses are there a lot in Periyar Varpasuram, in Sangam literature. It's there a lot. And you can infer that these kind of prasadams have been there. I mean, we celebrate them today on particular occasions, but back then, it was something that was made and offered. And important point to note is it was something that was indigenous. It was something that was seasonal, that we celebrate as prasadam today. So that was my little bit of culinary history combined with music. I wish I could have cooked for you, but time was short.
We'll invite you soon to Bahrain, Rakesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
it's
so much.
Amazing your journey from where you started singing, then you started exploring your cooking skills and your inquisitive nature to find out history, culture, economy, and linking it with food and music. What an amazing journey you're having. We admire you, and more power to you, Rakesh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for coming to Shrinkala Open Mic.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.